Hello and welcome to another episode of Gaming Reviews, a sub-series of gaming views where Dan and I are going to play a game and just take a little bit of time to give you our thoughts and views on them. This week I am playing Hidden Cat Outlaws, and just a disclosure right at the start, I received a free review copy of this game from our friends over at Game Press, so I'd like to thank Game Press and also the developers Sleepwalking Potatoes. Now, Hidden Cat Outlaws at the moment is available on a number of systems. So it's available on Steam, which is the platform I played on. At time of writing, that was £2.49. It's available on Xbox and PlayStation, also at £2.49, and it's on the Nintendo Switch at £2.69. Now, I've seen sort of when I've received the key for the game and been playing it that sometimes these are reduced in price, but yeah, that's what you're looking to be paying for the game. So what is it? Hidden Cat Outlaws is a hidden object game developed and published by Sleepwalking Potatoes, who are a two-person indie team based in Poland. As the name suggests, your task is to locate cleverly hidden cats hidden across 15 levels that are Wild West in theme. The first thing I want to call out about the game is its visual design. The entire game is 100% hand-drawn, and the vibrant, colourful art style really does stand out. Each of the 15 levels is packed with detail, and this really does lend a lot of character and personality to the Wild West setting. The developers clearly put a lot of care into creating a visually appealing world for the player, and that makes searching for the cats not only challenging but genuinely enjoyable. Within each of these levels, you'll have a number of objects to find. The main thing will be the cats themselves, and they will be hidden anywhere and everywhere in the environment. Some though are hidden elsewhere, and I'll come on to that in a little bit, but you'll also have some other random items and some keys that you're going to find. The levels are a decent size, and it can be, at the normal viewing distance, can be difficult to spot items. They can be quite small, but to help you locate the cats or other objects, you can zoom in. So on PC with the mouse you can scroll right in, but this does mean you see less of the map. So you've got that payoff between, do you want to see more of the map, move around it quicker, but items are going to be a lot smaller and probably harder to distinguish, or do you zoom right in so you're going to get that level of detail that you probably want to find the more trickier items, but obviously you see less of the map. As mentioned, cats will be anywhere and everywhere. They'll be in different poses, upside down, camouflaged on top of items. And I found that whilst it was easy to find the majority of the cats in a level quite quickly, there was always around a handful that were quite tricky to hunt down. And that's where the hint system will come in handy. So the game does have a hint system. It's unlimited, but it comes with a 30-second cooldown before it can be used again, so you can't just keep spamming the button. And when you use it, it's going to take you to an area where there's an undiscovered cat or a key. So you may be asking, in a hidden cat game, why are you hunting for a key? Now, some cats will be hidden in locked buildings. So each level will have 3 of these buildings, and they're going to house 1 to 3 cats. So when you find a key, it will take you to the building that the key relates to, unlock it, and then you'll have another scene inside. And these cats aren't difficult to find in there. The difficulty comes from trying to find the key. So outside of the cats and keys, there are 4 other secrets to find. So firstly, each level will also have 3 random objects. So think of a cowboy hat, a cowboy boot, sheriff badge, etc. So each level will have 3 of those. So they aren't required to complete a level, so that is purely based on finding the cats, but they're there for the completionists and those wanting a little bit more challenge and those wanting to 100% the game. Now, the final thing to find in each level is a secret treasure. So each level has 1 of these, and it's a unique way of finding it. So first there will be a building that has a cat above it, and that is the location of the villainous boss. Yep, each level has a villainous boss, and when you go into that building, it opens a new screen with a larger than life cat that's going to have a health bar and 4 bullseye targets around it. The game then turns into a quick time event mini game where the targets light up randomly and you've got to hit the right target, and that will then reduce the boss's energy bar. From my experience, you can't fail the game. I don't think there isn't a time limit, or at least when I played through, so it can't be failed. It's just more of a challenge to keep going and make sure you reduce that energy level. But when you do defeat the boss, a treasure map is dropped, and that then relates to a part of the map. There'll be an X marks a spot. When you then find that point on the map, click on it, it reveals the treasure. So again, not needed to complete the game, but it's there for the completionist. And as I said, the mini game itself isn't difficult, and finding the treasure isn't that difficult. So it's never going to be a problem to do this. Keeping track of your progress is easy thanks to a counter in the top left corner of the screen. So that shows how many cats remain and how many of the bonus objects remain. So one thing to note is the hidden treasure that I mentioned just before from the hidden boss, that isn't included in the counter. And ultimately, that's about it really. If you've played a similar game, or you know, whether it's a general hidden object game or one with cats, you know what you're getting. Any negative points I have would be very minor. Your mileage is going to vary with the sound effects. So the music generally in the game is great, but when you are collecting the cats, there's a human voiced meow, and it is amusing, but your mileage will vary with how amusing you find that after a couple of 100 cats found. But obviously sound options are there. The boss mini game, as mentioned, is not really a challenge, and it can be completed quite quickly, but you know, these games really aren't there for a challenge. Not for me anyway. It's a wind down kind of game, which I'll come on to in my summary. So really those are the two kind of minor points, but again, I'm really sort of having to dig in to find those, but I thought they were worthwhile mentioning. The plus points I've already mentioned. The levels are really colourful, sort of, there's a lot of humour in there, and when you get down to that handful of cats that you can't find and you know have to be somewhere, you kind of really are starting to get annoyed if you can't find it. And then when you do find it, or if you need to use a hint system, you will kick yourself because you've probably passed it 10 times, but because of decoys, etc., that can add that little bit of longevity and a little bit of challenge. So the game comes with 39 achievements. Took me just over 2 hours to complete. So, you know, bear in mind that with the price, over 600 cats to be found, 15 levels. So yeah, you know exactly what you're getting. So to finish off, I would say if you're into hidden object games, especially ones that are there to be played as pick up and play, quick 15 minutes here or there, or a relaxing wind down session after a more intense game like an FPS or a sports game, for me, this definitely fits the bill, and yeah, I would recommend the game if you're in this genre of game. Thanks for listening. Make sure you've subscribed to our YouTube channel and our podcast wherever you listen to it, and we'll see you next time for another episode of Gaming Views.